I know that many of you find the dating app game to be so fruitless or so frustrating that it feels better to not bother at all. But dating apps are just a tool, and just like any tool, you need to know exactly how to use it to make it do what it's meant to do. And I can guarantee you that you are probably making at least one of these 7 dating app mistakes, which is seriously hindering your results. So let's get that fixed, starting right now. Hello, my name is James, and I am on a mission to create a generation of gentlemen. First off, why even bother using dating apps in the first place? I'm sure many of us would ideally prefer to meet somebody in person. That seems like a much more romantic way for a relationship to begin. But the truth is, today 60% of couples are meeting online. So if you refuse to participate in online dating, then you are removing the most likely possibility of you actually finding somebody. Statistically, you would be massively stacking the odds against yourself. Using a dating app allows you to expand your horizons. Meet people whom you might not normally meet. Meet people outside of your usual social circle, your small town, your neighborhood. And very importantly, if you are a man with specific interests, specific tastes perhaps in clothing, if you are looking to meet a certain type of woman, perhaps a religious woman, perhaps a woman with traditional conservative values, dating apps offer a unique opportunity to filter by these specific attributes, and you can immediately see from a lady's profile if she would align with your values. And very importantly, dating apps don't have to be overly time-consuming, as long as you know how to use them properly. So let's move on to the first mistake that men are making with dating apps. By far the biggest mistake men make when using dating apps is creating a profile with low-effort photos. The majority of men's dating app profiles consist of selfies taken in the car wearing sunglasses, selfies in the mirror at the gym, and blurry group shots with 5 other guys, or of course the most infamous offender, the fish photo. When your profile shows the same collection of relatively generic, low-effort photos as every other guy, a woman can only assume that you don't live a very interesting, well-rounded, sophisticated life. And it also tells her that you lack the self-awareness of how to effectively communicate your personality through photos. But most importantly of all, you are simply not showing yourself in the best light. You're not doing yourself any favors, and there's nothing authentic about underselling yourself. All you need instead is between 3 and 5 high-quality, lifestyle-based photos. These don't need to be taken by a professional photographer. 1 or 2 professional shots is useful. I wouldn't recommend having entirely professional photos. But 3 to 5 high-quality lifestyle photos that show you in your best light. And to give you some specific examples of how to do this, I would recommend a photo of you being well-dressed at an event, a photo that shows you participating in one of your hobbies, and a smiling headshot so she can genuinely see what you actually look like. I hope this next mistake won't apply to too many of you watching my channel, but of course many men are also letting themselves down on the dating apps by dressing poorly. Women equate your external appearance with your internal standards. So you need to show that you respect yourself by dressing like a man who respects himself. The majority of men with their dating app profile, they show themselves with poor personal grooming, baggy clothing, no sense or awareness of style, no flair, nothing that stands out. In today's age, it's never been easier to make a positive impression with your clothing because the rest of the guys have simply made the bar so low. And remember this, a well-fitting suit will do more for you than any pickup line ever could. A dating app mistake that drives women crazy is when men have boring or cringeworthy bios and prompt answers. In your bio, don't say something low effort like, just ask, or gym, travel, food. This is so generic and it really doesn't allow the woman any opportunity to really understand who you are. When swiping, women are bombarded by lazy bios. So what you write needs to stand out. And you don't need to be a professional copywriter in this department. You just need to say something that authentically communicates what you like to do and the kind of man that you are. And in this case, it's much better to be specific rather than generic, because specific is memorable and eye-catching, whereas generic is obviously instantly forgettable. When using a dating app, it's definitely not the gentlemanly move to make things too sexual too early on. Yet so many men are shooting themselves in the foot by doing this. During your opening messages, don't use flirty emojis like an aubergine or eggplant, as it's called here in the US. Don't make comments about her body, and definitely don't give the overall impression that you are simply looking for a hookup. When you do this, it downright lowers your perceived value to her. And for every high-quality woman, it's going to be a complete turn-off. With your messaging, you want to stay masculine and be confident, but remain grounded, and don't allow this instinct to chase sexual validation, to chase that short-term gratification. Don't allow that to overshadow your true character. You have a much better shot at building that genuine connection if you save that kind of stuff for later. At the same time, the last thing you want to do is send passive, generic messages. Things like, "Hey, what's up? Any plans for the weekend?" Unfortunately, in the crowded market of dating apps, your message will simply get lost in the noise. And worst of all, women will interpret this style of communication as meaning that you are a very passive man in real life. You don't have anything interesting to say in real life. And overall, you send the message that you are either boring or insecure. What you want to do instead is send a tailored observational opener. Pick out something from her profile, either her bio, a prompt response, or a photo. Make a comment, an observational comment, and then ask an intelligent follow-up question. For example, if one of the photos shows her at a bookstore or she mentions that she loves reading in her bio, you could say something like, "You've got classic taste in books. What's your favorite Hemingway?" When I was in college and began using dating apps, I knew a few guys that simply had the policy of swiping right on everyone, sending every woman a like. Now, while you might think this increases your chances of getting a match, what you're actually doing is messing up your own algorithm, and you are training the algorithm to show you lower quality matches, to show you less attractive women. Instead, be selective. Now, this doesn't mean to only swipe on the most beautiful women, but only swipe on women that you would genuinely be interested in dating and getting to know. Remember, you're not trying to match with everyone, you're just looking for the right one. And the final mistake that men are making is relying on the dating apps alone. Do not spend hours on the dating apps at the cost of real-world interactions. Remember, the apps are a tool, but they aren't a dating strategy. And if you are over-reliant on dating apps, you will fail to see the opportunities that are available to you in the real world. And you'll begin to compartmentalize your dating life as thinking that finding women, interacting with women, is something that exists solely on your phone. A very unhealthy approach. Use dating apps merely as one strand, as one channel to your overall dating strategy. And be sure to remain focused on your personal development, on cultivating charisma, conversation skills, so that when you do meet the right person, you will be the best version of yourself. And very importantly, discover real-world opportunities to meet more women, whether that's simply by hanging out more often in coffee shops or bars, or joining hobby groups, volunteer services, all of that kind of stuff. Now, if you are struggling with the dating life and perhaps the confidence and communication skills that could help you with that, then I would love for you to apply for my private mentorship program. Not only would we work together one-to-one to help you fix this issue, but you'll also be able to connect with a small group of like-minded men many of whom will be of a similar age to you and going through the exact same things as you. If you'd like to apply and have a call with me personally, you'll find the link in the description. Thank you very much for watching.